Hi, I'm Frank Wigginton, Certified Financial Planner, and this is the Budgeting 101 series. Today I'm going to talk to you about savings. You've heard the adage before, pay yourself first. It was David Chilton in The Wealthy Barber who made this a household saying. The idea behind the concept of paying yourself first is that if you take the money away, you eventually learn to live without it. So that's why it's the number one area in the expense column when you're doing your budget. With today's technology, you can automate this and make it very simple, whether it be through a payroll deduction, which is probably best, or if you set it up using your online banking, you can get it set up where as soon as the money comes in from your paycheck, boom, maybe $100 goes off to a savings account for an emergency fund, or maybe it's $250 goes towards a retirement savings plan or something like that. The beauty of this program, and the reason why it works so well, is that once it's running, you forget about it. You learn to live without it. And I think that's the biggest factor. A lot of people, though, they need a bigger why. Why would I do this? And I'm just using a simple example. Let's say you make $55,000 a year. If you take just 5% of that money every single year and put it away. Now let's ignore inflation and let's ignore raises, because you would increase it proportionately as your income went up, and inflation would eat away some of that as it goes down. So I don't want comments talking about that. I'm just trying to give a simple example. So you make $55,000 a year, and you take 5% of that money and set it aside. I'm not even using the 10% rule, which a lot of people would say 10% of your income, put it aside. I'm saying 5%. After 35 years, if you get a modest 6% annual return on that money, now we're not shooting the stars, we're not trying for 15, 20% and putting it into big risk and that kind of thing. I'm saying a modest 6% return on your money. After 35 years, you would have $326,000 in savings. Is that a big enough why? No? Well, look at it this way. If you put away 5% and you only achieved an 8% return, again, I'm not going after the 15, 20% returns that some brokers will try and promise you. I'm saying 8%. Now it's a little more risky, but it is definitely achievable, especially if you have a 35-year time frame. At 8%, in 35 years, that's over $525,000 in savings. Now, do we have a big enough why? I think we might. And the bigger question is would you really miss 5%? It's not a whole lot of money when you think about it in the bigger picture. Now, some people are sitting there saying, well, I just lost my job, I just got laid off, maybe you're on medical leave for some reason, maybe you're going through a tough time, and I understand that. In reality, if you're going through one of these periods where cash flow is zero to nilch, and or you've had to leave your job for medical reasons and now you have medical bills on top of things, I would rather see you just completely stop making these savings. Reason being is that I don't want you digging yourself into debt trying to save some money. If you achieve a 6% return, that's great, but if you're accumulating debt on credit cards at 18, 19, 20%, the math just doesn't make sense. Doesn't matter how good it is. So I'd rather you stop all of these savings programs if you're going through a tough time, and prevent yourself or slow yourself from building up debt, bad debt in the form of credit cards and high interest. Okay? If you do have lots of debt, I would rather that you start by getting on top of that debt and aggressively paying it down. I've done another article on how to effectively pay down debt. I highly recommend you click on the link at the bottom of this blog to that one. Read that one on how to tackle your debt and get on top of it and pay it off quickly, and how best to do that, and what are some of the ways you can go about doing that. Okay, there's also some great links in that article to other advice and places that can help you get your debt under control. So thanks for listening. Talk to you soon.